Hi, all. Welcome to yet another episode of One Pitch Catch. Though we are a day or two late, the most important thing for this video is the Indian squad announcement for the England tour. As most of us expected, Shubman Gill has been handed over the captaincy with Rishabh Pant as his deputy. And I think more or less the team has the 18-member squad has come on expected levels. Let's see. Let's dig a little deeper and see what more can we see. Jaga, welcome. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, hi, I just found a couple of sort of interesting and contradictory statements in what Ajit Agarkar, as the chairman of selectors, is mentioning in the press conference, right? So he said there were, I think somebody must have asked him maybe about, did you not consider appointing somebody on a temporary basis and then Shubman Gill could get groomed? He said, we're looking at a longer term captain. We don't want to look at people for just like a couple of years or something like that, or a couple of series. And then he also explained about Jasprit Bumrah being unavailable for the full five tests, and that seems to have come into the picture around why he was not preferred as a captain and Shubman Gill was made captain. I'll take the second one first, which is basically the whole thing around five tests. Only starting from, I think, last January, Jan 24 is probably the first time India and England have started, and Australia have started playing five test series. India was England, India was Australia. Before that, all of them maximum used to be four tests. If we exclude like 1992 was a five test series and things like that. But for the most part, recently it used to be three tests, and then it got graduated to four tests. Uh, the next time India is playing a five test series is, hold your breath, January 2027. That's 1.5 years later. So, for the foreseeable future, after this upcoming England series, this is from the ICC Future Tours program. So, when an event is only going to happen 1.5 years later, and Jasprit Bumrah will invariably play most of the series, if not all, in the interim time frame between this England series and that Australia series. And that's Australia visiting India in January 2027. So he would be there for pretty much most of the series. There may be a few series he misses now and then, but I don't think that holding somebody to that standard, saying you have to play all five tests and only then we'll consider you as captain, works. Because the other counter argument is that actually, since the time Shubman Gill made his debut in December 2020, I think it was in the Australia series, the COVID hit Australia series, India has played 47 tests since his debut. He has only played in two-thirds of them, 31. So he's missed 16. He's missed one-third out of all the tests that India has played in that time frame. And in fact, even in the most recent two series, the one against New Zealand at home and the one against Australia in Australia, he missed the first two tests. He was injured. So it's not like this guy has a very clean injury record and he will play all the tests. For either for form basis, like I think he was left out when Rohit returned at Melbourne. So either on form basis, and he was getting a lot of starts. He was making 20s and 30s, but not really going on. So it seemed like he was the right person to swap in favor of Rohit. And he's also had injury. Yeah, if you remember, he didn't play the first match of the 2023 ODI World Cup also. So it's not like he has a great record with being completely fit. So plus he's not a sure fit. I think he's become a sure pick only because Rohit and Virat are now no longer in the picture. Otherwise, I don't even know if he would have been among the first pick in terms of the top eight. Yeah, maybe he would have been in the top eight batsmen in the squad. But I doubt if he would have been in the top six batsmen, especially if you're considering Pant as a batsman, if you want to play five bowlers. I don't think he would have been there. So it seems very premature and it seems to be more in hope. I think as we'll go with the rest of the video, we'll also find I'm a little worried about this whole squad in the first place. There's just too many gaps. Um, so I'm really concerned about that. And the second thing is, when Ajit was talking about, we don't want to look for a short-term option. Obviously, they're referring to maybe KL Rahul as a candidate or something. Because I think in one of our earlier videos, we had speculated whether Virat will get the job for a short period of time. With that being ruled out, KL was probably the only short-term candidate. about, and he said, no, you don't want to pick a short-term captain for a couple of tours or something. But no, I mean, KL has been your captain in the past. And in terms of not wanting to pick somebody that was a short-term solution on the basis of age, perhaps, KL Rahul is 33. Rohit became test captain when he was 36, when he took over from Virat in 2022. So there's already a 3 years head start that KL has now, and he has captained India, I think, in South Africa or something like that
Yes, yes, he
in
has
the
done that.
past. So it's
Yes.
not, he has the captaincy. So I just think they went with some sort of a gut feel with Shubman. I just hope it works out for his sake and for Indian cricket's sake. But it's a little, I don't think the decisions seem to have been as well thought through as I would have liked it to be. There's just too many holes that you could poke into their argument. But then sometimes it happens, right? I mean, a lot of times you've seen in history that youngster is handed the job and they end up doing it pretty well. Like Pataudi became captain when Nari Contractor was injured. Same way, I'm sure there have been other examples in
Graham
England, in
Smith. Graham
Australia.
Smith is a big example.
Graham Smith is a good example, and I'm sure there have been examples in Australia as well, where you pretty much don't have too much to go by in terms of past experience, and then you give somebody the job, and they end up doing a pretty decent job of it.
No, in
I
fact, even
hope,
Pat Cummins is partially that case.
yeah,
Pat Cummins also.
correct. Yeah,
So I mean,
very
again,
injury prone, and still he has the job.
yeah, going by the same logic that you say, Pat Cummins and Stark lasted the entire five test series versus India.
Exactly. Actually, that's the point, right? Then
Hmm.
you should. Why is you Jasprit Bumrah not lasting 5 tests? Why
Then
does
that's
Siraj
a
fail
bigger
at all after
underlying
three
problem.
tests?
Then there is a bigger underlying problem that we should
Yeah.
address in terms of fitness.
Correct. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's not happened. I mean, even this the number of bowlers that they've picked, whether it's your Jasprit, Siraj, Prasidh, Akashdeep, Arshdeep, I don't know how many of them are even going to last 3 tests, let alone 4 or 5, because they're not built for it. They've never played 5 tests. So how do you make sure that they are going to last 5 tests?
True. I mean, I think there are.
Whereas when you
I
see the other bowlers like an Anderson, Broad, Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins, they all last 5 tests without issues most of the time.
Yeah, except for here and there cases, they last.
Yeah.
I mean,
When
I
you get
don't.
injured is different, but your breaking down is different.
Yeah, exactly. And also, when you're picking the squad, you don't expect somebody not to last five tests. See,
Yeah.
even McGrath has missed an odd test in between. But when picking the squad, they didn't say that he won't last five tests.
Correct. Yeah.
So, but the thing is with Australians, no, when there is a big five test series coming up, they are completely okay with missing a season of IPL,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
not the
Stark
case
did
with
that.
Stark, Cummins. Everybody has done that before. So that's not the case with Indians. So that is why.
And maybe the BCCI would still be okay with it being that way. They don't prefer it any
Yeah,
other way also.
of course. BCCI doesn't. BCCI are okay with somebody missing a Test series and an ODI series or anything else, but they don't want. In fact, there was a lot of talk that Bumrah was rushed into MI this year, but effectively,
Mm.
I mean, until date, he is not broken down, so
Yeah.
it's worked out well.
But what if
Um,
this results in him breaking down first thing in England?
yeah, that could be that we'll have to wait and see. That we'll have to wait and see. So and then their choice of not picking Bumrah as captain would be they would be right.
Justified.
So justification will come there. But I mean, yeah, captaincy aside, I think Rishabh Pant vice captain is probably the better decision. I feel more than the
Mm.
captaincy. Because now that you've given captaincy to Gill, if the captaincy had been given to Rahul or Bumrah, probably Gill was a better option. Now that
Yeah,
Gill has become captain, Rishabh Pant vice captain makes all the sense.
correct. Yeah.
Apart from the captaincy, like you said earlier, Jaga, I am scared about the batting, Jaga. I'm scared about the batting. I think
Just
that
to clarify, when we started the IPL previews, we used SCAD in terms of Mumbai's batting and KKR's batting and SRH's batting. This is not that SCAD, right?
yeah, exactly. This is the opposite of that. I am worried, I should say, more scared. I mean, if for an Indian cricket supporter, I am worried looking at that batting order. Okay, the eight people we have picked, I am really worried with Shubman. I mean, I'm just not particular and not really in batting order. Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant, Abhimanyu Ishwaran, Jaiswal, Dhruv Jurel, Karun Nair, KL Rahul, Sai Sudarshan. So these are the 8 batters we are taking to England.
Yeah.
I am not convinced about this. This batting order is going is. I mean, even if you look at the bowling order, the bowlers might probably take care. Okay, it will be
Yeah.
okay. But the batting order is because we can't play all 8 anyway. We are going to play
Mm.
6 or 5 out of this.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I am not able to pick 5 sure shot people from this, Jaga.
Yeah. I mean, especially when the captain himself has
Yeah,
not been a sure shot pick for a
of course, of
few
course. I am not
matches.
including him as a sure shot batter. I mean, he is sure shot only because he's captain.
Yeah.
So otherwise, it's very difficult.
I
See,
think
Abhimanyu,
Yashasvi is probably a sure shot. KL Rahul is now thankfully a sure shot. He may have not been a sure shot 6 months ago.
yeah, and Rishabh Pant is a sure shot. Only
And
three
Rishabh
is
Pant. Yeah.
sure shot. I mean, Abhimanyu Ishwaran and Sai Sudarshan have scored a lot of runs domestic, but they are still unknown commodities in
Right.
at the top level.
Yeah. Yeah. And Karun is making a comeback.
Yeah,
Like,
Karun is making a comeback, and we don't know. And bowlers, they're a bit. I mean, if I include Shardul as a bowler, not instead of not an all rounder, they're a
more
bit
of a bowling all rounder, basically.
bowling all rounder. I mean, say if you consider him an all rounder, there are 4 all rounders. I would say
Yeah.
Nitish Kumar Reddy, Shardul, Washington, and Jadeja.
That's too many, I think, right? I mean,
That's a
just trying to cover too many bases, maybe because of the frailty of the batting.
So we always have this. I mean, Indian cricket always wants their bowlers to contribute with the bat, which I mean, which is not wrong, but they've never asked the batters to bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is why we have struggled in. I mean, post
Correct.
the Tendulkar, Sehwag, Yuvraj, and Raina
Yeah. Yeah.
era, we have always struggled about having our top 5 or 6 bowl a few overs. So,
You're missing Ganguly.
yeah, okay, Ganguly, yes, Ganguly being the captain to start that. But apart from that, they want always our bowlers to turn up and score
Yeah.
runs. Yes, it's always good when the tail scores runs. There's nothing against it, but I think it's like you say, it's one too many. I am not sure if I mean, obviously Nitish Kumar Reddy and Shardul Thakur are not going to be fit into the same level.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm. And I guess the same with Jadeja and Washington Sundar. In fact, out of the 4, I would think we'll play 1 or 2 only. We'll never going to play 3
Yeah.
also out of this.
I
Uh,
doubt
in
it. It
in
will be
fact,
either Nitish or Shardul. And if a second, in my opinion, if a second spinner is needed, then Jadeja or Washington. I would still prefer Kuldeep to be the first
exactly,
and
that's the
only
point I
spinner
was
for
coming
Sri
to.
Lanka.
If we are playing one spinner, I think it has to be Kuldeep, especially given the fact the baseball and all those things. Kuldeep is a better bet, way better bet than Jadeja any day.
Yeah.
If in England
Or
conditions,
Washington Sundar.
yeah, in England conditions, I feel. Hmm.
Yeah, I think the in terms of the spinners, Jadeja also didn't have a great series in Australia. I think except for maybe one innings, rest of
Hmm.
the innings he was giving away like almost 3.5, 4 runs an over, not
Hmm.
making any sort of impact with the ball.
Hmm.
With the bat, he was I think probably one match he played. Others, I don't recall what he did in the other test matches.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, yes, he didn't have such a great Australia
Right.
series overall.
Yeah, you just put it
Uh,
that way.
hmm. So I think the bowling will take care of
What
itself
about
in
the
England.
fast bowling?
Yeah, fast bowling, Bumrah, of course, we don't know I mean, how many tests he'll be available for. Then Siraj would be our second pick, I assume.
Hmm.
The third pick would be between Prasidh Krishna and Akash Deep. I will be wondering who they
Yeah.
will play. Because it can be Prasidh Krishna because he bowled pretty decently well, more than decently well in the last test in Sydney.
Hmm.
But Akash
Yeah,
Deep
it was
also
pretty
bowled
good.
well. Akash Deep, in fact, bowled a
Yeah.
lot of good spells. Though
Yeah.
he didn't have a lot of wickets to show for, he bowled a lot of very good spells in Australia.
Definitely, and he's been pretty impressive since his debut. I think it was against England early part of last year. So
Yes,
he's
versus
really
England
good.
also he bowled well. So even yeah, that is true. He bowled well. So basically, it leaves us with Arshdeep, out and out fast bowler,
Yeah,
who may not get a game if everybody gets to play.
right.
But I mean, so what is the reason of picking him as left arm fast bowler we need?
I think it's just among the others that are available. Maybe I mean, they probably didn't want to pursue with Harshit Rana because again, the conditions are different, right? I mean, in Australia, he was picked for the whole hit the deck thing, which is obviously not going to work in England. In England, you probably going to go with a swing bowler a little bit. Uh, I don't know what other reason. Maybe as a left-hand bowler, if he may be helping Kuldeep if that's an option in terms of the foot marks and things like that. But other than that, I don't expect him to play unless Jasprit Bumrah and any of the other bowlers is missing. Only then I think Arshdeep will play, if at all. Generally, I would assume that if Jasprit is not going to play all the matches, then Akashdeep will come in, not Arshdeep.
Oh yeah, makes
And
sense.
unless if Siraj loses form or something like that.
Makes sense. But I think if now with Shami also not being announced in the
Hmm.
squad, I think it would not. I think they would not. They would definitely place Bumrah or Siraj on both of them. I
Yeah,
mean,
both.
going without Bumrah or Siraj, I don't think they'll do that. Take that risk.
Yeah. No, but sometimes you may just have to, if Siraj is bowling so badly, then you might as well just go with somebody else that's probably even a little bit better.
Yeah, or also the injury like it happened
Yeah.
3 years ago in Brisbane when we had the entire bowling team.
Right.
Our bowling attack had some 17 wickets altogether or something like
Yeah.
that. So okay. So so it's worrisome overall the batting according to me.
Yes, it doesn't seem particularly confidence building. I think, like you said, the batting, the bowling kind of is okay, and that's largely because you have Jasprit Bumrah, you have Siraj who's performed for a little bit of time, plus you have some choices like Jadeja or Kuldeep also. But the batting is definitely the weaker side. You just have to hope that they and I think the way I see it is if they've gone down the path of okay, we need to invest in all these youngsters like Abhimanyu or Sai or Shubman, etc., then you have to bear the short-term trouble that comes with it because they are just so inexperienced. You should basically be prepared for okay, for the next 2 years, nothing is going to happen. Forget the next World Test Championship cycle and all that. You're going to use it as a rebuilding phase. That's the only thing you can as an
That could be
alternative.
the reason. That is, I mean, that's something that we have to do. Every team has to do when you lose these people
Yeah.
of the stature of Rohit or Virat and Ashwin
And Ashwin.
also, and Ashwin. So that
And
that is
possibly
something.
Shami also. There's
So
rumors going around that
yeah,
he
there
may
was
also back in.
speculation around that as well. So let us see. Uh, but and especially this batting order is worrisome more so because it's under a new captain also, and the captain also is trying to find his
Yeah,
feet in Test cricket. He's
correct. Yeah.
already an ODI great, I would say.
Yeah.
In T20s also it does well, but in terms of Test cricket, he is still not there. But hopefully, as an Indian cricket supporter, after 2 months, if I'm completely proved wrong and we win the series and come back like Graham Smith did
Yeah.
in his in his debut captaincy to England, I'll be very
Yeah.
happy and beaming with a smile in that video of the review of the series.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's not going to be easy. England at home are pretty formidable. I mean, they whipped Zimbabwe in a couple of days or something like that, which is
Mm.
always expected. I think Zimbabwe did put up a pretty decent fight for the first half of their first innings. After that, it just went. And I think England scored like almost 500 runs in a day or something like that
Yes.
on day one. So yeah, they took it out on Zimbabwe. We'll see how it is when England go. Like you said, I think the batting part is a little scary, and also because of the conditions in which it is in. I think this same squad in India, you may feel a little bit more confident. This squad in England seems a little bit worry.
India, we are one batsman
Yeah,
more with this squad.
exactly. Yeah.
So so we don't need. So let us see that way. Hopefully things work out. I mean, even if it's a rebuilding phase, if the rebuilding phase starts also, it's well and good.
That's fine. It can take, say, 1 or 2 years or 4 years, whatever. I think we spoke about it in one of the earlier videos that Gautam Gambhir may very well go with a very young side because that also gives him something to use as an excuse. Because otherwise, except for the Champions Trophy, he's pretty much done nothing in the last few months since he took over.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we'll just quickly go to
The
the
about
IPL.
IPL,
There's
IPL. I
also
mean,
points
last
should
we
be looking
spoke.
like the same as last week or something like that. No?
Yeah, the last same last we last spoke the same four teams. I mean, obviously the four teams. The positions also has hardly changed because GT has lost their last two games, RCB has lost one game, Punjab has lost one game. So all the teams who have qualified for the playoffs seems to be losing the games,
Okay.
especially against the lower ranked teams.
Yeah.
Even the SRH has won three games in a row now. CSK has won two games in three games, two out of three.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the way CSK has started this series, it's unheard of. So it is still the race to one and two are still going on. Today's match that's happening between Mumbai and Punjab is crucial. If Mumbai win today, they will probably go and sit
Yeah.
on top of the table. Because these losses to lower ranked teams have made it much more complicated for the teams who have
Correct.
qualified
Correct.
for the playoffs but not sure of the one and two position. Obviously, everybody will want to finish one or two, given the situation that they get two choices
Right. Yeah.
even if they lose the first one.
And some of these teams are also hampered by the foreign players not returning, and they had to pick replacement. So a lot of churn right now.
Yeah. So tomorrow would be the last league game. We'll probably come back
Yeah.
and see what are the options once the playoff lineups are firmed up.
Right. Yeah. Great. That's about it for today. We have Punjab is going on right now. They're at around 10 runs and over, go down. Should be
12.3
interesting.
overs, 106 for four. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
exact score.
And tomorrow is Lucknow versus RCB as
RCB.
the finale. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks a
everyone.
lot. Please do like this video, give us your feedback, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. Yeah, just
Do
whatever.
all the good things as always.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.